Hello and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Yvette, and on my channel I like to share fun tutorials and ideas for journal making, paper crafting, beadwork, and more. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these Sari silk tassels for your journals. So let's look at our samples here. I have purchased some remnants of Sari silk, and this one actually has some material in it. And I can also make them with ribbon or lace with some eyelash yarn in there. So we're going to go through and look at these. The one I'm going to be making on camera today is Sari silk and lace. So let's take a look at these. First one here has some red striped Sari silk, some 70s printed fabric. It's got some floral fabric in there, just a little bit of everything. And then I've put this little dangle on here. This is a handmade blown glass bead, and I put that on a bulb pin and hung that on there. So there's that one. This gray and blue one has some all Sari silk pieces on it, and it has a little charm and another handmade blown glass bead on there. This green one, I've gone ahead and tied a bow on there, and this is all Sari silk. Some of this is a little heavier, like a tapestry material, and it also has a charm, and that charm has some furnace beads on there. The next one I'm going to show you is this blue and teal, and it is all Sari silk, and then I have a carved shell charm on there that I've put on there, and it has some beads on there as well. Got flipped around, sorry about that. And I also put some up here, some decorative thread, just to give it a little bit of bling. This one I didn't add a charm to it, I just have some, it's very long, so on a journal this would hang down and look really pretty. And I have just tied the lace into a bow there, and then I have some eyelash yarn and various ribbons on there. So let's go ahead and get started on our sample today. So I watched a video by my friend Melodi of Melodi Made, and she shows how to make a macrame knot to tie your tassels, and that's how I've been doing mine since I watched that video about a year ago, maybe not even that long. But anyway, she shows how to do it, and I think it's a great way to make a tassel. It keeps everything intact and in one place and doesn't make things fall out. So one thing that I like to do on my tassels, as you can see, is I cover the ring. So you're going to need one of these keychain rings, a split ring, and I just cover it with a piece of fabric or Sari silk, or in this case I'm going to cover it in lace. So I just pull it through there, and you're just simply going to go around. I almost thought about doing this off camera just because it's kind of boring, but if you've never done this, you're not going to know how to do it. So got to share everything. So let's just keep going around, and I've left a little bit of a tail on there. I like to incorporate this into my tassel. You can also tie it off, and that's fine too, because you're going to hide everything under the tassel anyway, but I just like to kind of incorporate it in the tassel. So we're just going to keep going around here, around. And just continue through here. So I don't mind if it looks a little rugged. I kind of like that look, especially with the look I'm going for here, which is kind of a boho tassel. You don't want everything perfect, and if I get over here and one end's a little bit short, I can always undo part of it and just go ahead and add some more. So kind of like to also show you what happens if things don't go perfect in your craft room, because I make mistakes all the time, as I did right here. So I just kind of undo it a little bit, and then we're going to continue over here, winding this one around because it's longer. And like I said, you can straighten that out if you're more particular than me, but I kind of like things a little not perfect. All right, so when we get down here at the bottom, you want to make sure that this is covered. You're going to cover it with the other stuff, but I just like to make sure it's finished looking. I just gather these up like this. Now Melody takes and she pushes all of these through, and because I've wrapped this, it does make it a little difficult. So I'm just going to push these through one at a time, and this is just how I do it. There's no right or wrong way. Melody would agree with that. So just go ahead and pull them through, and then what I'm doing as I pull them through is I'm kind of lining them up at the bottom as well. So as you're pulling it through, I'm lining them up down here at the bottom so they're all about the same. Now I did cut these, and I didn't really give a measurement at the beginning because you're going to decide how long you want your tassel, but these are probably, I would say, about 15 inches long, maybe 16 inches long. So that's going to give you about 8 inches on each side of your tassel. And that's a pretty long tassel, but I kind of tend to like them that way. So some people like little short ones, and that's fine too. Whatever you're happy with, that's what you do. So I'm just going to keep putting this in here. I don't even know how many I have. Again, that's going to be your personal preference there on how many strands you want, how fluffy you want your tassel to be. So let me keep pushing through because I want this pretty fluffy. Kind of liking how this is turning out. All right, so we're going to get that in there. I don't iron the sari silk. I have done that in the past where I've ironed it, but I kind of like that crinkly feel that it has to it. So what we're going to do here is the knot that Melody shared how to make. And that, like I said, that's how I do mine now most of the time. There's a couple different ways you can tie a tassel, but this is the one I've found that really helps it stay in place. So you just kind of move them around, get them where you want so you have colors dispersed throughout your tassel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this little piece over here. It's a little bit shorter. It's probably about 12 inches long. And you're going to pull it a tail up like this. So you have an end up here. And you're going to hold these here really tight. So that's important to keep these really tight because we're going to pull this up, we're going to make a loop, and then we're going to wrap around. And what that's going to do is secure these onto the ring so they don't slide. If you don't tie this knot really tight or stitch through it, I've seen people do that as well. That's really hard to stitch through a lot of layers, but when you're putting that on there, if you don't secure these really well, they're just going to come out and they're not going to stay a nice pretty tassel for long. So I'm just going to straighten this one out because he's kind of crooked. That's one that came around from the ring there. All right, so we're going to pull these down again. You're going to pull these really tight as you can. And this piece, Melody stresses in her video too, that you want to make sure that this is really strong. You don't want to have a wimpy piece of lace that's going to break or something like that. You want something really strong because we're going to tug on this. So you're going to leave a tail up here and you're going to make a loop down here with your finger like this. And you're going to bring this up and wrap it around. And Melody says in her video you can wrap that as many times as you want, however thick you want this to be. So that's how we do it there. And then you're going to take this tail and you're going to put it down through this loop and you're going to pull up on this one, and that's going to pull a knot right underneath this band, and you'll feel it when it gets in there because that is not going anywhere. So at this point, if I had a longer tail, I could leave that and just pull this down. Another thing you could do is pull this down and wrap around. That's how I did the ones with the bow. So I just wrapped that around there and tied the bow on. Okay, so if you don't want to do that, you can just take this and cut that off, which is what I'm going to do. And you just want to cut right up next to that base material, the wrapped around material, so that that's not going to show. Just pull up on that again, and we're going to cut that off. I know it's scary because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm cutting right there, but I followed her instructions and I've never had one fall apart. So that's what I use. So there's our finished tassel. It's strong, it's sturdy, it's not going to come apart, and I think it's quite pretty. So I'll go ahead and link the video to Melody's channel so that you can check hers out as well, since she was the one I got my inspiration from. And then on the bottom here, if you want, you can just trim these off, and I usually go back and do this and kind of trim these up. I'll leave a link also to where I've purchased some Sari silk in the past, and I have Etsy sites that I've purchased from. So I'll go ahead and link those so that you'll know where you can go to get some Sari silk if you don't have it. And then just kind of trim that up however you want. If you have a straggler there, just kind of trim them off, make sure they're all, and of course don't throw these away, we can use these for something, right? So we'll put those over there. And like I said, I'll go ahead and link everything in the description box so that we know where to go to get the items that we need. When I buy the Sari silk before, I've actually gotten it like this. This is my little tub that I keep it all in. And it just comes in these strands that are, well, let me find one that's tied together. They just come in a big roll, and they're sewn together here. And what I've done is just gone through and cut those and then folded them, made the tassel. So there's all different kinds of material. There's all different kinds of silk in there. Some is thin, some is a little bit thinner, and you'll have to kind of cull through this and cut off, because these are remnants. There's going to be a lot of strings like this right here, so you're going to have to go through this and clean it up a bit. I usually don't clean it up before I put it in my tub here, because it's going to fray a little bit again with the movement and everything when I dig in there. So I just clean it up as I go and as I use it. So I will link those in the description box. And I did have another one here that I made, and I didn't show you guys that one. So this is another one that I made. This has more like a brocade Sari silk rather than the sheer, and I didn't put any lace in that one. But anyway, that's our video, and please join me next time. I am going to be using a kit made by the Paper Outpost. Pam, you guys probably know her and have watched her videos. And she has this kit with some owls, and I'm going to do something with them. I don't know what yet, but please stay tuned and come back and check out what I do. Again, if you like my video, please like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, ring the bell so you get notified of when I upload my next video. And if you give these a try, please share with me in the comments or email me. I always link my email account and my Facebook account. Please share with me what you have done and created from my videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.